So they're looking for the diadem. Do you actually think that this is the object that they need to be looking for? Or do you think that it's a different object? And if it's the same one, where do you think this object is, this diadem?
But
didn't we say it was a Ravenclaw, the crown?
Yeah, that's the diadem. And then we were kind of saying it needs to be a Ravenclaw object.
That was the line of the book too. What is a diadem?
Like, what's a diadem?
I forgot.
And then, John explained it for us as being something like a crown.
Sounds like a diorama.
Diorama on your head to make you witty. I am thinking it is the Horcrux. What do you got going on over there? You making jokes to yourself? Clue us in. We like your jokes.
No, John's going to use this as the intro. I sound like an idiot. I'm like, please don't use this. These are always the best parts.
Anytime Jen says a joke under her breath and I miss it, it's the most enjoyable thing for me to go back and actually see what it is. And I'm editing and I'm like cracking up because you said a hilarious joke.
You're the group comedian.
Oh, yeah. So funny. What were you saying?
I think it is a Horcrux.
So we can do inventory again. Do inventory. So what are the Horcruxes? We do this like every podcast.
No, but it's a good way to start just to see if our minds have been changed at all.
What are the Horcruxes that they got?
Nagini.
So
the
what
locket.
have they the ring, the Nagini, the locket. Are there 6 or 7?
6 and 7 is Voldemort.
Okay.
7 parts, yeah. Journal, ring, locket, cup, Nagini, a Hogwarts hidden one.
Okay.
Wait,
that's
cup. What was the cup?
The cup is what they got from the vault.
Oh, yeah.
And we kind of have that confirmed, like this type of stuff, because Harry saw into Voldemort's mind, so we all got to see in his mind. And as long as that's not a trick, like it was in the Ministry of Magic, unfortunately, then we kind of know what the deal is. And so we know the journal's destroyed, the ring is destroyed, the locket's destroyed. They have the cup. They kind of know where Nagini is going to be roughly at Voldemort's side. And according to Voldemort, it feels like... just throw the glasses on all sly, and it's St. Patrick's Day. Boom.
Just gonna leave them on for a minute.
And then there's one in Hogwarts. So I feel like that kind of gives us a good amount of information, and that's what makes me think the one at Hogwarts is the diadem. We just don't know where. And then you had said something about it potentially being that tiara I couldn't get off my mind from back in the day.
Oh, yeah.
But then it just feels like that was just a random thing, like just to throw tiaras into our minds as like something in the wizarding world or like a thing that they wear at weddings or whatever.
Or maybe it's the one that's in the family.
Which is also possible. But the part that gets me though is in the Lovegood household, it feels like this diadem was a little more substantial and didn't have like ear looking things on it. So I feel like the Ravenclaw
You'll be the only one to remember those details.
But I feel like it looked bigger and more like weird, like a zany special kind of like diadem. Almost feels extreme because it's not luxury,
like, the properties of the diadem. So he was using extra things generally.
Ooh, okay, interesting.
So he was using things that he believes give the person what the diadem actually gave you.
So he's trying to just mimic
the
effects of the diadem. It's not actually how the diadem is shaped. Okay, so that's interesting too, because then it does open up more that it could be either of the two tiaras we know exist. And one of them we know is Goblin Made, and it was taken by Lupin, unless it wasn't really Lupin. So I feel like it has to be at Hogwarts, though. That's why it can't be the Lupin one, unless there was something else that Dumbledore did without Voldemort knowing. So I know I had to just catch you up a little bit. But was that jarring any memories, any ideas about the diadem, about Hogwarts, about like, what's your natural instinct on where this final Horcrux is?
John, well, I think
He's loving this.
This is so great.
oh man. I don't know. I said the room of requirement last time, right? That I thought maybe it was in one of those.
In the room.
Because in one of them there was a bunch of junk and it was sitting in there.
Like the one that we mentioned from back in the day that was
Yeah, so
mentioned in
maybe
like
it's
a few
like
books
let's
ago.
throw it in here and see if anyone can find it. Or is in a bunch of junk, so good luck finding it. Like,
Man, you're right. That actually does
would
make
be
some
the best
sense.
spot because it would be hard to find.
But who put it there though? Voldemort?
Well, that's the question. Is Voldemort that daft to put it there?
Yeah,
is he
like
dumb?
that
'Cause you
anyone
mentioned
can end
before-
up there?
You mentioned before, like
No, but not anyone, because it was only the room requirement. You have to ask for a certain type of room. So
Yeah,
it
but even if
only
you
would
really have to go to
appear-
the bathroom, it could show up. You know what I mean? It's like any student who has a need.
But does he know that?
I would think. It feels like Voldemort kind of knows his stuff. I still think there's a flaw in his plan somewhere that we don't really know what it is quite yet, but it does feel like he knows enough about Hogwarts. And wait. Didn't he also, the way he said it, I'm trying to remember, we might have to look back, but I thought he was saying something about plumbing the depths of Hogwarts, like more than anyone else.
Yeah, and then I said, oh, maybe it's like the same area that these basilisk.
Right, exactly, in the chamber. And that would make sense too, but for it to be farther than anybody else, he opened the Chamber of Secrets. So at that point, it really does
He
make
is
sense because
further
maybe
than-
it wasn't open in so long since it was made
but
or whatever.
You did
But
mention last time that is this his pride speaking about him knowing things, or is this just really he plumbed the depths of the school? Which do you think is the more likely one? That he's just prideful and thought he did, and really everyone knows about this, or that he actually legitimately discovered something that no one else has discovered in the castle? Both could be pretty true.
yeah,
But he could
I
also
don't know.
think he's the only one that knows about their room. No.
And we already know he's flawed because, well, yes, partially. But wasn't the tiara on top of the vanishing cabinet or something that Harry got in, which sent him to Borgin and Burke's? Wasn't it in that whole thing where he was in the room of requirement? Or was that where it was? He no, he was hiding something in the room of requirement.
Yeah, it
and
was
he
the
he
book.
remembered where
It
it was
was,
by saying, I'm going to put it in this thing that has the tiara or the
It
head
was
thingy or something.
Snape's book on
Yeah.
like
Oh,
the
yeah,
dark
yeah.
magic stuff that he wanted to hide because he wanted to keep using
Right.
the spells but not have it.
So that's where he went to hide it. Right. Okay. We know that Voldemort and Snape and other people didn't know where this final tunnel, well, we can't even say final, this new tunnel that they just used to go from Aberforth's house into Hogwarts. So again, that's kind of saying there's a little bit of pride here. Voldemort thinks he knows it the best, but voila, a new thing appears. So he clearly doesn't know it well enough, unless this is all a trap to get Harry into Hogwarts. And, they did know that this was a path and they're just like kind of spying. But it feels like they've blocked every other entrance. They missed this one. So however much Voldemort thinks he knows everything about Hogwarts,
But also,
there's stuff he doesn't know.
Side note, why haven't they used this map, the Marauders map, while they're in Hogwarts? Wouldn't that help finding all this stuff and like being on the lookout for Death Eaters coming to find them?
Yeah.
Harry only pulls it out at one point in this chapter when they leave the room of requirement, but they should have probably done that before to just like double check even where they were going.
Right.
Because it's ridiculous that like he's looking at it. Luna leads him up to the room, and then they get discovered by the Carrows. You're like, why didn't they just watch the map and just double check that?
It's the perfect way of like monitoring, and the map is so powerful. It almost feels scary to even bring it out of the room because you don't want that falling into the wrong hands, because then they'll be able to track down all of these other people and like guard the castle even stronger. So it feels like they're being a little bit foolish with the map, maybe not treating it with the respect it deserves.
But there's a spell to make it blank too.
Yeah, fair.
So
So
they might not-
as long as you can mischief manage that thing right before it falls into the wrong hands.
Well, Well, we'll talk about that at the end, but welcome to the podcast. I'm John.
Jenn.
Danny?
And Kristen.
And this is Harry Potter and the First Time Readers. Okay, can you guys give me a quick summary of chapter 28?
Yeah, Kristen.
Oh, it's not reading my face. All right.
Wow, it's not
Glasses.
used to you wearing glasses like that.
I
Nice.
felt like that whole time I was like a creeper behind bars.
Yeah, like hiding in the shamrocks.
Okay. I read this before. It doesn't fully make sense to me. The trio lands in Hogsmeade, right?
Yeah.
But they fall into a trap of being discovered by Death Eaters, right?
Right.
They try to escape, but someone drags them into the bar, and this person convinces the Death Eaters that the Patronus that they saw was a goat and not a stag. This person was Aberforth, and he explains to the trio what happened to Ariana. And then at the end, Neville makes a grand entrance out of a frame, right?
Yeah. Perfect.
That's what I got.
What do you guys think of their plan? Do you think that they should have planned this more, or do you think they should have really just gone in?
Plan what?
Them
Like
going to
going
Hogsmeade
to Hogs?
and going to Hogwarts to try to find this object.
I don't know how would planning help. Like, I feel like they don't even know what the heck's going on. So what are you planning for or against? It's like you don't even know where they are. You don't know. Yeah. I think it was fine.
Wow. It's intense.
Like, what else are you supposed to do, though? It's either you sit around and wait or you go and make moves.
It just felt too aggressive to apparate to the middle of town.
They should have apparated to the forest or something, yeah.
I'm like, apparate way outskirts and approach really slowly and on foot. Again, I'm loving some of this Muggle stuff, Harry digging the grave, etc. I feel like this is a perfect example where the Muggle approach might be under the radar the most. You know, you apparate far outside of the little like shield charms and stuff, and then just
have
hike
a
in.
spell to look different.
Yeah, right. Do the spells to look different and all that, but it feels like it was their apparition that triggered the spell that made the alarm kind of go off or whatever it was. So then the Death Eaters knew right where they were. So it feels like they should have maybe started farther away because Hogsmeade isn't far enough. Even the Forbidden Forest or somewhere kind of weird or like, I don't know. It could have been worth doing something like that. But I also understand that they're desperate and they like the rush for time. They didn't have time to sit down and come up with a really grand plan. They probably also didn't feel like they had time to apparate outside and hike in, I guess. So maybe they're just blinded by this accelerated timeline. Yeah. And they're nervous that they're missing their window of opportunity. So
because Harry saw into Voldemort's mind, which is why they apparated to Hogsmeade, right?
But see, that's also the scary thing. There's still a chance. We don't think so, but there's always a chance that Voldemort is manipulating. So you always have to just try to imagine one step ahead and say, according to everything I've seen of Voldemort's mind, I need to go to Hogwarts right now. So maybe I shouldn't go directly there because it's too clear of a path where it's like, it just feels like they think they have the advantage, but what if they don't? And what if this is a plan and a trap and whatever? And as it is, they're, kind of stumbling through, but they've gotten pretty lucky before in the Ministry.
And they got super lucky here because they get there, this caterwauling charm goes off, and they're literally they're like inches away from the Death Eaters. And they're about to be caught before Aberforth, who they don't know is Aberforth at the time, tells them to get into the bar. They get into the bar and like...
I know, it's like you're trusting someone, but I guess it's better than a Death Eater.
Right.
For sure. They don't have too many other options there.
Right.
But that's even the one crazy moment in this too, because Aberforth, whether you trust in him or not, is a really fascinating question. Like, do you think he's a reliable storyteller? How much of his story do you actually think is the like dead on truth? Is he being honest about the entire thing that happened with Ariana and with his brother? he has like some good moments because when he tells him about the dough, or when he tells him about the what is it, the goat, Ron goes, "The silver dough," he exclaimed excitedly. "Was that you too? What are you talking about?" said Aberforth. "Sent a dough Patronus to us. Brains like that, you could be a Death Eater, son. Haven't I just proved my Patronus is a goat?" Oh, said Ron. "Yeah, well, I'm hungry," he had to defend him. It gave an enormous rumble. And then he says, "My brother Albus was a lot of things," said Aberforth. "And people had a habit of getting hurt while he was carrying out his grand plans. You get away from this school, Potter, and out of the country if you can. Forget my brother and his clever schemes. He's gone where none of us can hurt him. And you don't owe him anything." Is he a reliable narrator, storyteller?
Maybe. I don't know.
There's a lot of emotions behind it.
Yeah.
So I feel like where there's a lot of emotions, it can't be too reliable because it's like just from him with what he experienced. If that makes sense.
I feel like he thinks he's telling the truth.
Yes,
it's like true to him.
Yes.
But can you trust something
like
that's emotionally charged?
What's the word?
Almost like an aggressive manner. He seems a little or jilted.
What's the word? Like not from your perspective, but like
Objective.
objective. Thank you.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if he can be super objective.
Well, it's another side to the story because we
I
weren't
know.
sure what happened.
So we do learn kind of what happens with Ariana too. Because he says it destroyed her what they did. She was never right again. She wouldn't use magic, but she couldn't get rid of it. It turned inward and drove her mad. It exploded out of her when she couldn't control it. And at times was strange and dangerous, but mostly she was sweet and scared and harmless. What do you think that looks like? Like the idea of magic being suppressed inside you. Is this really what's happening with Ariana? Again, like what does this contribute to this whole narrative as well?
It doesn't quite satisfy me. Something about it just feels like it could be true, but it's kind of new. We haven't heard much about it. It still doesn't feel like the full story. It leaves me wanting more, or like from another perspective, or I'm hoping I don't know how we can discover more, but
What was it really quickly again, though? Ariana, like, she had the power. She got made fun of as a kid, so she didn't want to use it. Then it would backfire every so often when she couldn't control her emotions. But Aberforth, he was the only one that could calm her down, it sounded like. But he wasn't around one time, and then she reacted and killed her mom by accident with the magic. And then she was upset about it. And then what happened? She killed herself. Not that she killed herself, but it happened again. I don't remember. So I'm just asking for a refresher.
The story is a little hard to follow for this a little bit, but when she killed her mother, when she got like bullied, her father went after the kids, and then that's why he got sent to Azkaban.
Thing. Okay, yeah.
And then the family is still taking care of her. Her magic turned inward for a little bit, where she like had to lash out because she refused to use it, so her magic turned inward. And then when she killed her mother, Albus told Aberforth he needed to stay at school, and Albus came back and took care of her, but Albus didn't really know how to take care of her that well.
Yeah. Okay.
And then so Aberforth was like, I'll drop out and take care of her because he knew how to do it well. But that's when Grindelwald came in the picture, and Albus had like this grand plan with Grindelwald because they live in the same area, and they started hatching this plan. And then there was a fight between all of them. It kind of broke out, and he said like, I don't know which one of us did it, but she was,
in the crossfires.
Yeah, in the crossfires. Yep.
Okay. I couldn't remember.
And I think it's weird at the end of it, after their mother dies, Dumbledore says Aberforth needs to finish his education and kind of makes him, and then watches Ariana. And even that just still felt a little funny. And Aberforth felt bitter about it still. Like he's like, he said something about Mr. Brilliant, like he's being sarcastic. There's no prizes for looking after your half-mad sister. stopping her blowing up the house every other day. But he did it all right for a few weeks. I don't know. So it just feels funny that he's mad at Dumbledore, it seems, but then he's also even admitting that Dumbledore is sacrificing renown or glory or whatever else for his sister. So I guess I'm not totally sure what the anger comes from. Like, what did Dumbledore do at this point? Isn't he doing the right thing by sacrificing what he was doing going around the world with Doge and
I think he hates like his attitude about it. He was like Aberforth would have gladly dropped out and taken care of her, but Albus is like, oh, he's the man of the house, but he's not really good at it. So I think it was like the attitude with which which Albus took care of that, rather than just like actually wanting to do it. Because he kept throwing little shades in there about like, oh, then he can go off and be like, you know, the greatest wizard of the age, or pursue his goals to become the greatest wizard of the age, whatever it is.
Mm-hmm. They were looking for Hallows. Grand plans for the benefit of all wizard kind. For the greater good.
There it is.
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah, it's just like a story thrown in there that is a weird digest. It's like, what is this? What do you do with this info? How do you view Grindelwald after this whole story? I mean, you guys thought he was going to be like the new mentor for a while.
I was hoping. I don't know. How do you view him?
You're talking about Abba?
Grindelwald.
Oh.
Like, after all this, like, I have partially positive views, but I'm also thinking that the fight between Grindelwald and Dumbledore could have been a real fight. Like, an actual fight over... They bonded at first over some ideas of the Hallows and trying to bring things together. And then there was somewhere where they had different ideas of how to achieve the greater good. And it could have been a real fight. So maybe we really don't like Grindelwald. And maybe he was locked up for a reason. And it wasn't just so he could wait for Voldemort to come one day and be like, haha, I got you. It might have actually been just, too. But we just don't know. Now I'm thinking 65% bad. I love quantifying
your percentages are incredible.
But you know what? It was way different before. He's more bad than he's ever been in my mind now.
What if he was convicted for her death? Then would he go to prison?
Maybe. Wait, do we know much more? I'm like trying to think of what we made up.
He fled the country because he didn't want something else on his shoulders. Even if they didn't know he did it or not. They don't really know who did it, but
I'm trying to figure out why he was up there. Unless he stole the wand from someone and they caught him and put him there. The Elder Wand. And then gave it to Dumbledore. He stole it from someone, gave it to Dumbledore, and went to prison. All for the greater good. Yeah, I don't know. It's very strange.
And you know what else is weird?
What else?
Aberforth says he never said why he'd done it, because if the Ministry had known what Ariana had become, she'd have been locked up in St. Mungo's for good. And then I thought, is that a bad thing? Because isn't that where Neville's parents are? And so then I was like, oh, like, I guess I'm stuck in this weird place of, is St. Mungo's a bad, torturous, kind of like terrible existence? Or is it like a nursing home and a nice place where they're treated with care and they have people who are qualified to treat illnesses? So then I'm like, well, maybe back in this day it wasn't, and it's been reformed since then. I don't know.
It probably has something to do with stigmas as well. Like Neville's parents is more like a nursing home, but for someone who is like, I don't know, someone that's dealing with something, I don't know what a different stigma would be.
A serious threat to the international statute of secrecy. Is that the Muggle wizard thing? Like Muggles can't know about it?
Yeah.
So she's a threat to that because she's not really a Muggle, but if the magic turns in...
Yeah, she can't really control her magic again.
So it could accidentally explode uncontrolled and then Muggles could see?
Why wouldn't they teach her how to use it?
Is it too late to teach her how to use magic?
Yeah, I'm like, why wouldn't they teach her certain things to control it? It's weird.
Yeah, it does feel weird. Like the path to get here, it feels like there were other options, or like they should have known, or maybe this is really weird and this isn't normal. And usually you could just kind of decide not to do magic.
This. I'll give you a little bit of information. This is like a specific case. This is called something. I'm not going to really tell you what it's called yet, but it's very rare. It doesn't really happen that often, but when a wizard's magic turns inward, it's like they don't really know what to do with it. It hasn't really been studied all that much.
Okay.
And it's like it can be very, very dangerous. It's like, so they would probably rather put you in like a padded cell than actually give you the treatment that you need.
Okay, because it is unknown. They don't even know how to
they don't really know what they're doing. So it's like I'm kind of equating it. Remember we read that short story in book club once, The Yellow Wallpaper?
Oh yeah.
She has, I forgot what she had, but it was like they don't know. She had like depression or something like that, and they're like treating her in all the wrong ways that she doesn't really need to be treated, because it's like this weird stigma about like, you know, someone having depression. I forget exactly what it was, but it's something like that where they have no research on this and they're kind of just like, okay, let's just throw her in her padded cell just to keep everyone else safe, rather than really going after
caring about her.
Yeah, for sure. You'll learn more about that in like extra canonical things that that have been written about it. Or not extra, it's canon, but in like extra things that
like outside of the books though.
That's actually really fascinating. But we'll get there when we get there.
It's funny that on 567, Ron and Hermione were staring at Harry. He had never gone into details about what had happened on the island on the lake. The events that had taken place after he and Dumbledore had returned to Hogwarts had eclipsed it so thoroughly. And that's all fine. But again, I think it shows the immaturity of they're trying to solve mysteries here. They're looking for clues. And Harry never went through every detail of that day, because I feel like that is all really important, like information in order to solve this world-changing mystery that they're trying to beat Voldemort to. Yeah. I'm like, he should have gone through all that he could remember.
Especially when they're going to get Horcruxes. It's like, okay, this might happen to you. This is what happened to Dumbledore.
Right. Just to be
ready for something like this.
And then what if next time Harry's the one who has to be drinking something or doing whatever? Like, I feel like he should have told that story. So that was weird to see that and think they had a lot of free time in their little tent traveling around, and he didn't go through all the details, which felt weird. My brother wasn't more interested in the greater good than you. How do you know you aren't dispensable, just like my sister?
Yeah, what do you think about Dumbledore? I
can't view Harry like that, or Dumbledore like that, really. Yeah.
Do you think that Dumbledore really regretted what he did? Like, in not truly caring for Ariana? Because it says here, Harry says he was never free. I beg your pardon, said Aberforth. Never, said Harry. That night your brother died, he drank a potion that drove him out of his mind. He started screaming, pleading with someone who wasn't there. Don't hurt them, please. Hurt me instead. What does this make you think of Dumbledore?
I feel like I don't believe it. And we're forced to equate his treatment of Harry to Ariana. And I want to assume that they are the same. And he actually cared deeply for both of them. And I just don't know. But he never talked about Ariana. So maybe it really was a mistake and it really was his fault that she died. But I don't think it was on purpose. Maybe it was just youthful overlooking something. But he wouldn't make the same mistake twice. Maybe he does keep Harry in the dark a lot, but
we get this quote too, which is like a longer one, but it's Harry being convinced of what he says. And Harry goes, because, said Harry before Hermione could answer, sometimes you've got to think about more than your own safety. Sometimes you've got to think about the greater good. This is war. You're 17, boy. I'm of age, and I'm going to keep fighting even if you've given up. Who says I've given up? The order is finished. Harry repeated, you know who's won. It's over. Anyone who's pretending different is kidding themselves. I didn't say it like that, but that's the truth. No, it isn't. said Harry. Your brother knew how to finish you-know-who, and he passed the knowledge on to me. I'm going to keep going until I succeed or die. Don't think I don't know that this might... don't think I don't know how this might end. I've known it for years. So Harry has like a moment of real leadership here. And he's like convinced, and he's very convicted of this. But do you think... Aberforth even seems like he's doing some shady deals with the Death Eaters, just keeping quiet while they're doing their illegal stuff. I don't know. I guess the question, who's reliable? How does this story help us understand anything going on at the story at large here? Is this going to help us unlock something about Horcruxes or anything like that?
Like, you mean the stuff that Aberforth told us?
Yeah.
I'm just trying to think what new information we got. It's just weird that his own brother doesn't trust him.
Yeah.
And then I guess Dumbledore didn't try to restore the relationship, or maybe he kind of did, or they were just at odds, and that happens, but something about it just feels still weird.
Could it be like a trap for Harry? I doubt it.
Oh, I was like, Wes is right here. What's going on in there? Yeah, I don't know.
Or could it be someone else is alive that shouldn't be alive?
Wait, who else is alive?
No. Well, it doesn't make sense because Ariana died, but could she be alive?
I don't know how she could be. I like that though. But I think Dumbledore was actually sad about everything, right?
Or what about Grindelwald? Could it be
they swapped
shining
places
light on
with Forever Polyjuice, and Ariana was in the top of the place?
So at its basic reading, you guys are very non-trustworthy, which is great.
yeah, so true.
At its most basic reading, this is more.
Not.
Yeah, I know. This is just more information that we get about Dumbledore, which is shady. But Grindelwald seems like he's bad. Dumbledore seems like he's good.
Yeah.
In part, this one muddies the waters a little bit, but you're still kind of trusting Dumbledore, but you just don't know exactly. So I guess the questions in your mind for this chapter typically should be is Dumbledore really good? Did he really set up Harry for failure? Maybe the large question I'll wrap this chapter up with is, how will this story end?
Great.
Ready, go.
There's a new question.
Yeah, that's just the whole point of all these books. You want me to answer right now? Cool.
Yeah. Harry might die. He's known it for years. I'm glad Harry knows that. And I like that it's coming up as this genuine possibility, not only by the prophecy, but even in Harry's own mind, because then it puts us into that final battle, actually not knowing if he lives through this. And I like that that's a possibility, because a lot of times you read things and you're just like, oh, the main character, they can't die, obviously.
Yeah.
And I like that it is an actual possibility. There's real fear there. And I like that he's willing to, if that's what it takes, which is pretty incredible, even if it is a little foolhardy. But I don't know. I think there's a big old showdown in Hogwarts, a battle of all the Horcruxes coming into play. But the part I just can't figure out is the Hallows. I can't figure out if they still exist.
But
at
also,
all, if any of them do.
It's interesting too, because Grindelwald and Dumbledore were kind of in similar vein as Voldemort about the Muggles.
Right. Mm-hmm. It sounds like that for sure.
That's weird.
Do you believe that, or you think Aberforth is kind of misunderstanding Dumbledore's perspective?
I want to say yes, he's misunderstanding because of how Dumbledore sticks up for them at Hogwarts and allows Muggle-born witches and wizards in.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. Or maybe that's what they fought about, Grindelwald and him. Or don't know.
The ethical questions for this one actually really interesting, which is a part that we can even discuss in the next chapter. Because I think it's Electo Caro who's teaching Muggle studies. I mean, she just like has them railing about how Muggles are these terrible people and that wizards need to dominate over them in their proper place. But a lot of that comes from fear of how Muggles treated wizards, which is like, okay, we're not like, we're not Death Eaters by any stretch of the imagination. But you understand the pain that some of them are going through. With like, we were, shot down for centuries and they were murdering us. So
burned
they
at
want
the stake.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So they want to enact like some kind of revenge, which is the wrong way to go about it, obviously. But in a perfect society, how do wizards and Muggles interact? Like, is the statute of secrecy actually useful? Maybe this is just like broader ethical questions about the wizarding world that don't have that much to do with the plot, really. But it's kind of fascinating.
Can they live in peace, Jen? And how?
If everyone can just let go of their ego and pride and let power
Yep.
go, then sure.
Yeah.
But is that ever going to happen?
Right. And I think it would be weird just from the wizard perspective. Would Muggles ever be in charge? Would they have power? And the wizards, I think we're assuming in theory, are more powerful. Would they ever give power willingly to the Muggles and say, okay, cool, we're going to, have your president, have your whoever, have a council that's half wizards, half Muggles, and we'll like listen to whatever rules come up. Could it actually be the case, or would wizards just kind of rule? But that's not really fair either. But the wizards are doing that to the goblins right now. They don't let them use wands. So
it would take a lot of honesty from the wizards because they could just erase their minds.
Yep. Like they could completely take over the world if they wanted to. But then what is the right balance? Just because you are more powerful doesn't mean you should take over. Do they see that there is a value the Muggles can bring? Could they live in harmony? What would it look like? Can you teach a Muggle some kind of magic? Because we know there's Muggle magic. At least there's love. But like,
love and music, we got those two things going on.
It's more powerful than anything they teach there. So, yeah.
But then Muggles have kids that are wizards and witches too.
True. And then it would be more normal, and then it wouldn't be like a big freaky thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there already is a little bit of a crossover.
Yeah.
But it's a stigma.
Right.
Yep. And that even that is
Could
weird
erase
though.
that.
We still don't fully get it.
Yeah.
But they're better than some of them too. That's
I just feel like the wizards can't even rule themselves very nicely, let alone Muggles too. And then if wizards can be out there in Muggle world running for office and all that, like, I just don't know how it would go. But I don't feel like they have a good setup for like politically for the ministry or anything else. And then it would also get weird because the rules might apply in Great Britain, but what about in other countries? And then are there other countries where Muggles don't know?
Yeah.
So how would that work? It would have to be worldwide. And now we got a one world order, and then it's I don't know.
Wow.
That escalated.
It escalates real quick.
Yeah.
But one of the even with everything that we're talking about with Aberforth, one of the good things that we finally found out is that he was the eye in the mirror. And he was the person that was helping Harry through all these different things. He was the one that sent Dobby. So at least we got that little tidbit of information.
So he has to believe his brother, right? In a way, that Harry can help with this.
I think so.
Why else would he be helping Harry?
It was funny too when you guys were giving predictions, even like books and books ago. You guys were so close to guessing that who this barman was, because I think it came up a few random times, and you're like, I wonder who this is. And you're like, he has like a thing with goats or something like that. I think one of you, Jen, I think you were like, I think maybe what if this is like his brother, Aberforth or something.
Wow.
I think you like threw that out there.
Wait, does he have a thing with goats? Meaning the bartender? Did it say that?
Yeah, it said the bartender, or the bartender
goodness.
had a bunch of goats like wandering around.
That's funny,
or something like that. I forgot.
I love that she put that hint in there because at some point didn't it say the bartender like looked a little familiar to Harry?
Yeah.
And then we thought it was weird that it was someone like listening in on their conversation.
Yeah.
We were skeptical. And we were like, is it Mundungus? Is it this person? Yeah, I remember that.
Cool.
Good old
1
Abby.
point for Gryffindor.
All right, let's go on to the next one, which is the missing mirror. Unless you have anything else in this one.
No, I think
Yeah, this one's it's just like an added little thing onto the story. It kind of pieces a few things together for Dumbledore's story.
Yeah.
But you still just like Albus's, I guess, track record seems to be going down a little bit. You don't know really if you want to trust Aberforth that much, but
it's still comforting to me though.
yeah.
I like that there is a good person in Hogsmeade.
Yeah.
He still needs to be fully converted, but
Yeah, for sure.
he's taking good steps in the right direction.
I like that he's in there here though too, because it's not like there's that famous line in the 5th book where the world's not always split into good people and Death Eaters. Like he's on the spectrum. He's generally good, but he's not like this person who is, you know, really fighting against it. He's like Death Eaters are coming into his pub and like doing shady deals, and he's just okay with it because he keeps his mouth shut. This guy's looking out for his own. He's a complex character. It's time. It's like wartime. At one point when I read that paragraph about him, like the Death Eaters doing shady deals, I was like, is he war profiteering in some way? I wonder if he's like making money off of them in some strange way, and maybe he gets a cut of whatever shady deals they do. And I like it because it makes him like a complicated character. So like in the real world, not everyone's going to be on good or evil side. There's going to be people on all over the spectrum of it. But let's do the chapter 29, the Lost Diadem summary.
All right. Neville brings the trio into the room of requirement, which has become all of the students' hideout inside of Hogwarts. Harry and Luna go to see what the Lost Diadem actually looks like, but one of the Carrows finds them.
Wait, are they siblings or married, the Carrows?
That's a great question. I think they're siblings, brothers.
That was what I was thinking, but I couldn't remember.
I doubted myself for a second. I'm pretty sure they're brother
Did they
sister.
press the dark mark? Okay.
Yeah, at the end they press the dark mark.
That's the end of the chapter.
That ain't good.
Yep.
Yeah.
Harry's not ready for that, is he?
Is
But
Dumbledore?
would he come right away?
Yeah, that's the real question. He's
Because
been like
he's
20
been-
things.
Yeah, he's like busy making sure everything's secure.
Yeah. So he's gonna
Yeah,
like
he is
figure
very
out what
busy.
gonna
He's
do.
like, all right, whatever you guys have going on, this is more important.
Yeah.
Maybe just have like Snape come look at it or something. That'd be interesting.
Yeah, do all Death Eaters get the alarm bells when it's pressed, or is it just a Voldemort
Can you
hotline?
talk back to them? Be like, I'm not coming.
A little walkie-talkie. What is it?
Yeah, it better be good or I'm not coming.
I think it was briefly mentioned in these books that if they touch the mark, it has to be Harry. So anytime Voldemort gets it, he knows that it has to be Harry. So the times that it was Harry, but he just got away.
But is he ready for Harry either? I don't think either of them are ready for each other.
But now he's got the wand, though.
Well, he thinks he has the wand.
He
didn't
thinks he
What
has
are you
it.
talking about? He thinks he has the wand. Doesn't he have the wand?
I thought
Oh,
so,
he
but
has
Danny
it.
doesn't think so.
No, you know what? I just can't decide
Whatever.
if they exist, but in my head, either all 3 Hallows exist or none of them do, and I can't figure out,
But what if you
is
have...
this the real wand?
But another thing, while you're talking.
Yeah. I'm waiting.
That was funny.
All right, it's good. Yeah.
There she goes again.
Yep.
What if you have 2 of the 3 Hallows? Do they then do they group together and like you can't use the wand against someone that has 2 of the other Hallows?
I don't think so.
Hallows.
I just think they're powerful on their own.
I feel like they should. I don't think so. I think
Oh, nice.
Harry has 2 of them, and then the wand's not going to want to fight its own.
Wow, Harry has 2 of them.
Well, yeah,
You-
we're going to go with that.
Because you're still thinking the stone is
In
the resurrection
snitch.
stone on the ring. Oh, in the snitch. I forgot.
And
Okay.
He has the cloak that obviously
Right.
is true because it wasn't called when the Death Eater took it.
And so,
Why are you
yeah.
laughing at me?
No, that could be true.
I'm not
It's just
looking
I
at
do
love
think the
this.
cloak is real. That feels it like it makes sense to me.
So if that's real,
I
You
think
said-
they all are
Yeah,
around.
no, he doesn't.
And I
believe
think
that
they're
anyway,
all
so
real.
whatever.
I can't figure out if it would be in the snitch because I want the resurrection stone to be bigger and more powerful than that. But the snitch is small. But then again, spatial stuff, we can bend the rules. But if Voldemort does have the wand, I feel like he at least thinks he has it, and he thinks it's loyal to him. So I think he is confident enough to take on Harry. I just can't think if he's going to actually just immediately arrive and say, cool, Harry's here, I'm going.
Wait, what is the cloak supposed to do again? Like the story. It was like the wand cannot be defeated. The rock was something.
Like give you power over death, I think. And the cloak is obviously invisibility,
resurrection
but
stone. It would come back as a ghost or like half a person. Yeah. And then what was the cloak though? So I don't remember.
It just kept him away from death. So it kept the brother so that death couldn't find him because death gave him his own cloak of invisibility. He was hiding essentially.
So like,
from
could
death.
you be in the cloak and they can't kill you?
If you got the stone under that cloak too, double whammy.
The cloak didn't respond to a curse. They said Accio cloak, and the cloak didn't move.
So I wonder if he's wearing the cloak, could he not die?
Mm.
It hides him from death. Maybe. Well, that's weird because isn't that what the stone does too?
No, it resurrects.
Like if you're dead, but then you use the stone on other people, or you just hold it close when you die and then it brings you back. I'm like, I don't know.
I think in the tale is you turn it thrice in hand or something like that.
You turn it thrice in hand, but you can't do it if you're dead.
Yeah,
or you have to do it before you die as like a charm over yourself.
Flick it and say, I want to come back, and you die, and then it falls to the ground.
Time it really well.
I'm good.
Oh my God.
Or is it like, it just adds a life, one up like a video game, just like, I got an extra life.
Huh. But I just find it interesting that there's 3 items, and what if you have all 3? Or what if you have 2 of the 3?
Right. And we were saying if you have all 3, which we hope Dumbledore did when he had the cloak when Harry was born.
Yeah, but he doesn't say anything. It's so annoying.
Classic Dumbledore.
I don't like it.
Fair. Very fair. But we don't know where that stone is. I hope you're right. In the snitch would be cool. But how are they going to get it out? What's got to close?
I know. It opens with the close of what? Of the cloak. You close the cloak and it opens.
Whoa.
Wow.
I guess. Has he ever gone full egg in the cloak? He's always got his feet out. It's not really closed. Maybe that's how you hide from Voldemort.
How would you do that?
Yeah. Have you ever done that with a fitted sheet? You put it around you like...
No. That is something.
Egg time.
Well, you have.
Well, it's a thing you could do with hiking. They make these like tent things. What are they called? Bivvies, I think. Mm-hmm. Where it's like a bivvy sack and you like fill it with air and you sit in it, kind of like you would do back in the day in like preschool, where you have one of those big parachutes up and down. It's like that, but then you sit inside of it. And if you do that with the invisibility cloak, truly invisible. So I don't know, maybe.
Oh my gosh.
Interesting. Yeah.
I just don't know. There's a lot of moving parts here. And then how are they going to kill these Horcruxes?
Yeah, so
they don't have
one.
the stupid sword. It's so annoying.
I know, they don't have the sword. They have one. They're about to try to find another one. They don't know if they're going to find it. What are they going to do?
What did I say? Wasn't there like a potion or something? I wondered.
What kind of potion? Because I like this. But it would have to be a potion that came up.
Yeah, but he has the book in this. I just recalled it when
he goes
our discussion.
To find
his book.
I like that.
In the room of
Is it still there?
It has to be. How is it going to get to it though? Because how does it keep changing? Like, it doesn't make sense because it's one room, and like, what if everyone needs it at the same time?
Yeah, it's a great point. Or what if there's other people in there, and then when you go in there, you need to. Do those people go into like non-existence?
Yeah, and
it
then
changes
you have
into something else,
and then you have your own room. Like that's what I don't know.
Or it's like multiple dimensions of the room. Like you're just in there, and someone else walks in, and Voldemort's trying to get his whatever in there. If that's the Horcrux, then they're still chilling, or they get kicked out. Oh, but now that they're captured, even if Voldemort doesn't show up, what are they going to do against a Death Eater? And then won't they be able to be tortured for information about where the other people are? Or Snape can read their mind? So, not good. And if they can get the potions book, is there a potion that can destroy a magical object?
Well, if there is, it's gonna be in there, and Snape knows about it. Like, he was good with potions. And
Yeah, I guess
spells.
so.
He also helped Dumbledore, like,
Would there be
overcome.
Oof. Well, that would be even, but that's a reason why it wouldn't be the case, because if Dumbledore's arm is all black and stuff from the ring, he tried to destroy it some other way instead of using the potion thing. So Snape was like not telling him the shortcut to it if there is a potion. Or unless Dumbledore's arm was all some kind of color because he had to stick his whole hand into the thing to try and destroy. How could it destroy a Horcrux but only turn his hand black and it still like works?
Well, that's why I think it's the resurrection stone in it, because maybe it affected his body.
In the ring.
A Horcrux and a stone. That'd be kind of crazy, though.
What are the chances?
A Hallow and a Horcrux.
Living in symbiosis together.
And did Voldemort know when he did that? The power he had in his
No,
hand?
he doesn't know anything about ancient magic.
No.
So
Sounds like something I would say.
I don't know.
What do you guys think? Even just a basic one for this chapter. What do you think of the students all rebelling? So, like, what do you think of Hogwarts? The current state of Hogwarts at the time?
It feels a little hectic.
They're like risking their lives to like go against the Death Eaters.
And it does feel weird. Like that it is even possible. I thought the rule would be harsher, like every student would be in line because they're willing to kidnap family members, to torture them, to do whatever, read their minds, Cruciatus Curse. Like, I would think that this would be ruling with an iron fist. So it almost feels like they're kind of taking it easy on the students in some ways to allow any kind of rebellion to happen. Or maybe these students are just better than I'm giving them credit for.
So we find out that they're in this the room of requirement as well, this little hideout in the room of requirement. And again, there's one thing, I think there's one main point in this chapter that we brought up numerous times, but Harry seems to not want to tell them what's going on here. And then finally, when he told them that they had to find an object, they didn't tell him about a Horcrux. They're like, you guys like breathe a sigh of relief. You're like, finally, he's telling someone. Is it good that he's telling other people about like what he needs to find? Should he just do this on his own? Is that like was Dumbledore wrong about that? Should he have told everyone about the Horcruxes and sent everyone on a chase to find these things?
I don't think he should tell them Horcruxes specifically.
But he didn't, right? He just said
He
he
didn't.
needs this item.
Yeah.
But was that wrong? Was that bad? Because
What?
I'm kind of questioning it. Dumbledore did tell him not to tell anybody.
Yeah, but I think now it doesn't matter. I
Okay.
feel like it was a secret before because Voldemort didn't know anyone knew about it.
But now that
now
Voldemort
that
knows
Voldemort
and Harry
knows,
knows
It's
that
like,
he
yeah,
knows.
all the cards
Now I
on the
don't think it
table.
matters.
Yeah, okay, that's fair. I just think the next student who gets captured, or I guess it's kind of happening right now, but hopefully they'll be able to not tell. But now they kind of know. Harry told us we're all looking for an object. So that, I
They
think...
seem stronger than that, no?
Well, yeah, but Snape can read their minds.
Yeah.
And even if they couldn't, they've got like truth serum and whatever else, torture devices.
But does that matter? Because then
I don't know.
Voldemort's going to have to explain himself to the Death Eaters. Right? Like,
Yeah, maybe.
why are they looking out for this object?
Right.
What
Oh,
does that
true. A
mean?
Death Eater might not even realize or be like, oh, they're just messing with stuff. They don't even know what's going on. I don't think it would be bad if Death Eaters knew. But maybe
He
Voldemort
doesn't
thinks
want
so.
them to know because he didn't even tell Snape about it.
True.
So, yeah. I don't know how they're going to get out of this, though.
Yeah, what is like their plan going forth? Harry is going to the Ravenclaw room right now to go look at this diadem.
I don't know why he took the cloak off.
Yeah.
That was a little silly.
And there's not like a ton of like, this is like progression of the story. There's not a ton of like rehashing of material, I guess. This is like almost a collection chapter. They're like, okay, what do we need to find? So it's like the question that we've been asking the entire time is, okay, they seem to have narrowed down this object is this diadem, and they need to go find this thing and they need to destroy it. But where is this? How are they going to find it? How are they going to destroy it? And then what does this look like for the grand scheme of things? Is Voldemort going to realize that this stuff is happening and then quick whip up a few more Horcruxes? Is he going to come seeking Harry to kill Harry at this moment? So there's just like a lot of the same typical questions that we've been asking.
Could he even create more? I hope he's capped it. I hope like there'd be some weird thing if his soul would fall apart or something.
7, though, I thought.
Yeah, right. It does feel like a magical thing. Like when you're.
But then if a couple of them got destroyed, do you make it up for them?
Or do you have to wait for your soul to grow back a little bit?
What? How does that happen?
Your soul can only grow back with remorse.
Yeah, true. It can only grow back with remorse. And I don't see that happening.
No, he doesn't care about anyone. I don't know how he has a following still.
Yeah, it's the incessant question that everyone just keeps having. Why does this guy have a following?
He doesn't do anything to help anyone. Literally, everyone that's helped him is tortured or dies.
In a worse state than they were in before.
Exactly. I think they learned their lesson.
Wes is even over it.
I know, he's like... So, I mean, Harry seems to be growing in these chapters. He seems to be like actually communicating and telling people. At least he's not holding secrets. Like Dumbledore, I guess, found it valuable to hold these things as secrets. He's giving these people a little bit more here. And they're going to find this thing. What do you think? Where do you think this object is?
Could it be actually on the Ravenclaw, like statue thingy?
The closer you are to danger, the farther you are from harm. It's like been sitting there the entire time.
Right,
everyone's like it's lost, and it's really been there the whole time.
It would have to be a complicated thing to reveal it. It couldn't just be Revelio. Some student would have said that just practicing, right? So is it hidden somewhere, or is it in plain sight in a hidden chamber? I'm not sure. Where else have we seen any crowns? Any diadems?
Talking over here.
Move the mic down.
It's talking more than I am. Sorry.
Yeah, where else have you seen crowns in the story?
Fleur wore one at the wedding, but that's the same one that was passed to Lupin.
Yep.
Right.
And the crown that was in the room of requirement.
So is it one of those two, or are they the same one?
I was wondering, could they be the same? But I don't think they could, unless there's a third vanishing cabinet, and that vanishing cabinet is at Aunt Muriel's house, and she's storing things in it. So she hops in. Well, that would bring up the weird thing too with the room of requirement, where if other people are in it, what happens?
Yeah.
So
really,
Aunt Muriel's in there all the time.
Is a hoarder, and the room of requirement is her.
It's brilliant.
She just keeps shoving stuff in this room. And
it's all her stuff. It's not students' lost stuff. That would be actually really cool and weird. But I'm thinking,
weird.
Could it be hidden in a portrait? I keep thinking of that too. Could you get anything out of a portrait? Could it be hidden?
We learned something new about a portrait in this chapter, where the portrait seems to be walking backwards and
there's
pulling something out.
You're seeing things. The portrait could go get Neville, and we see Neville approaching. So then, is that a hint at something else? Are there other portraits with weird things going on behind them? More secret passages, or you see a tiara in a portrait, you open it up, and then there's the tiara sitting behind the portrait. You know, like, I'm trying to think of other things in the castle we've seen where it could be hidden in plain sight. But I just can't think of anything that makes sense.
But they don't talk about it. I was like, could it be like on one of the statues?
Yeah, right. But if it was going to be on a statue, I think the prime candidate would be Ravenna's.
In the Ravenclaw room.
Yeah, exactly. Like that would be the one. But I also think there's something fitting about some of that. The same reason that Voldemort wants it to feel right, to sound good, like 7 parts and these notable objects. I feel like whoever hid the tiara to begin with would want it hidden in a place that is fitting for it. You know?
Why couldn't it be in the headmaster's?
Yeah, it could. But what would it
room?
be? Do we know of something in there that it's like, could it be part of the pensieve? Can you hide something in there? Is it like one of the
There were a
portraits
lot of
in the
stuff,
room?
no?
Yeah, he had a lot of weird little tools. And what was that thing with was it dueling snakes and
Well, is
smoke or something?
Ravenclaw, whatever her name is there a portrait of her in the headmaster's room? And it's her tiara is real.
I was going to say no, but then again, when the school was first founded, who was the first headmaster? Maybe it was a headmistress, and maybe it was Ravenna. Rowena? I don't remember. I'm going to say Ravenna. I think it's V.
It's a Dudley.
Rowena.
Nice switch around.
So if she was the headmaster, then she would have a portrait in there, I guess.
I just wondered if the founding people have portraits. It didn't matter if they were a headmaster or not.
Yeah.
Well, they never
that would be
talk
fair.
about
That would
it,
make
but-
sense. Yeah, like all 4 of the founders. But it would be weird that they haven't been mentioned unless there's an age factor. Like they're really old, decrepit pictures that are like they barely move and talk. But it could be.
What about where Peeves was? Where was that party?
Oh, yeah. You mean Nearly Headless Nick, like downstairs in the
Or
dungeon
that,
thingy?
yeah. Well, they're kind of the same.
Yeah, similar.
I know what you meant.
It's like one of those ghost things.
Yeah. Like, was there something down there? I'm trying to think of a physical object that was down there.
I
Like,
don't know. It was all like dead fish. and
yeah,
stuff,
right. Like
That was,
amongst
like,
all the smelly
food.
stuff.
Yeah, it was gross.
But maybe there was something down there that I forgot.
Yeah, that's a great thought.
Dude,
That's
that's actually fascinating. Do you think any like of the ghosts or Peeves is going to have any kind of more significant role? Like they just kind of seem like they're floating throughout the story.
Right.
But could one of them be like? Could you pull a crown off of a ghost? Because you're saying pulling a crown off of a portrait, yeah, which is fascinating because we learned
that's a
something
good
new
thought.
about portraiture. So the idea of ghosts or Peeves is actually really fascinating.
It is one of the weirdest loose ends of the story. I've been kind of dismissing it as it just is what it is.
Yeah,
The
you
only
know,
thing
like
is,
they're
he
the
would
same as a
have-
wall
just
or
seems
anything
like it
else.
is, yeah.
But you're right. Like there
But
could have been something we missed in those chapters.
Yeah.
There could be something more.
But Voldemort doesn't make friends, so how could he have a?
He doesn't have
ghost?
any friends.
True. He doesn't need them.
Yeah, you're right. So if it, yeah, you're right. I keep forgetting that this is Voldemort who would have been the one to hide it after
Yeah.
it was a Horcrux, unless Dumbledore already. No, he would have told
what
her.
about if it's in the kitchen with all
Okay,
the
with the house elves.
house elves? He like forced them to like
When
hide
Winky
it.
was drunk, did we see anything cool in the kitchens?
You had to tickle the pear, so maybe the pear is a Horcrux.
Ooh.
Voldemort had a tickling thing.
Boy.
But I feel like Harry should be talking to the ghosts anyway. Would they betray him? I don't know. Are there even ghosts, or did the Death Eaters come in and shoo them all away?
Yeah, we don't really know about a ton of ghosts either. We know about the Bloody Baron, about the Fat Friar, and about
Nearly
Sir Nick.
headless. Yeah.
That's pretty
Or
much-
we also said, sorry to
you're
interrupt
good.
you.
And moaning.
We were
Myrtle.
talking about the last time the room, the dark arts. Remember, we're like how the professor only lasts a year.
Right.
So
right.
there might be like some spell
yeah,
in
yeah.
that room, and
Yep.
maybe it's hidden in there.
It
Yeah.
could be. But again, I just wish there was something we could sink our teeth into about that room. Like, oh yeah, they've mentioned
Yeah.
this thing. There's some fancy podium, chandelier, chest, cage, brass knocker on the door.
Yeah, that was cool. The brass knocker. Maybe it is the brass knocker.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because if Dumbledore was in charge. I said that too, I think.
Mm.
What if it's that and not a tiara?
Could be.
Like,
But
you
then
didn't
it
allow
just
me
feels
in.
like Voldemort would have failed if it wasn't a Ravenclaw object.
Why?
Well, because that was it seems like that was his goal.
Like one thing from each house?
Yeah.
Why?
Because he was just a collector. Because he's a hoarder.
Because he likes just things that feel right.
Because he had the cup and the thing and the whatever. Oh. But what's Gryffindor's?
I was just going to say, wait a second, because we were thinking the sword was one.
Yeah, but that's not.
But it wasn't. So maybe that's a misnomer and it just happened to be objects of theirs. And then, or maybe the sword still is one. Because we had said for a while, it's possible there are 7 Horcruxes and Voldemort himself is actually 8. Because that kind of sounds right too. Even though it sounds a little bit wrong. He said split the soul into 7 or 7 Horcruxes. It's both
You're
using 7.
You're just making up your own stuff now. Like, what are you doing?
What, you don't remember that?
Oh, yeah, these are theories. I forgot.
Yeah, they're all theories. Shotgun effect. Spread it far and wide. Something's bound to hit.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're not winning.
All right, we'll see.
He's a shotgun effect. And I was
Wait. You said Harry's a Horcrux?
Yeah, I speculated that at some point, but
No,
Jen, you're
I
making
said
fun of him.
that.
Yeah, you're making fun of him for that, but that was your theory.
Yeah, now he's stealing it because he wants to win. Far and wide. You gave me crap for that.
I did.
I said that.
I would never. I love theorizing. So I feel like we just don't know. But what's the Gryffindor object?
Obviously.
Harry can't be the Gryffindor object because if Harry's a Horcrux, it was an accident. Voldemort didn't even realize he did it.
Voldemort became like a baby.
How do you make
goblin
a Horcrux accidentally?
Well, that's what I'm wondering too because we'd said, how do you even make one to begin with?
What? Well, because after he did that, he turned like a little goblin baby or something.
Goblin baby Voldy.
I did. He would turn into a worm or whatever. I don't
We
know.
were speculating he had
Disgusting.
an object with him when he was there for Harry and maybe was planning on making a Horcrux with Harry's death because ending the Potter line seemed to be an important thing.
So what was he
We're making that up a
with him?
little. But that's what we were saying. We don't know. We don't even know how the wand got back to him. But then it seems post books, JK kind of said, yeah, well, Wormtail was the one who went and got it. So maybe he did the same thing with whatever the Horcrux was. Yeah, I don't know.
What if it's their wands?
Yeah, that is possible maybe, but could it be done?
Well, it's broken now.
Yeah,
Well-
they destroyed Horcrux already. It was broken. It's
Yeah,
great.
I mean, kind of, yeah.
I
I feel like
But
we're
it's still
touching on something
attached.
because he's like hysterically laughing over here.
We're just
so
we're
funny.
rolling around
I
in all
love
these
that. I love
theories,
your
you know.
guys' shotgun effects and how you just shoot in 20 different directions, all trying to get something.
Something's bound to stick. Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we're making a lot of speculation.
How do you guys? How do you like the entrance into Ravenclaw Tower? That you have to do essentially like a riddle.
A poem. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. And who did it for them?
Luna did
Luna,
it.
yeah.
Because Cho wanted to go.
She's like neither of them,
And then,
right? I don't know what it was.
Ginny's like, no, Cho, you're not going. Luna, go with them.
Nice.
And then Luna goes, figures it out, and then that's when they pull off the cloak, and then Electo Caro is standing before them.
So annoying. I think it's clever. That's part of their house, right? Being witty.
Yeah. That's cool. Yeah, it's a password for Gryffindor and for Slytherin. It's a riddle for Ravenclaw. And we don't know what the Hufflepuff one is.
Yeah, they're never mentioned.
The neglected house.
That's sad.
If the room of requirement sprouted a pretty good bathroom once the girls started turning up, what were they doing before?
I like who said that too, Lavender or something like that. It was like, yeah, when you needed to realize that you needed to be clean. And all the high school boys are like
Yeah,
gross,
that's
not taking
true.
showers, just chilling.
Yeah, that's funny.
Well, I guess you get used to your own stench.
Yeah.
All those boys.
Anything else in these chapters before we wrap it up? Do the wrap up questions. Again, a lot of the questions that I could ask are just grand scheming questions, and we've already talked about a lot of this. So there's like this. These are fun chapters. but they just like are continuations of like, okay, they're looking for you get a little bit more info. They're looking for this diadem. You don't really know where it is. How are they going to destroy it? Same kind of questions just keep popping up. So yeah.
I feel like it actually could be on that stone statue. Yeah.
So here, maybe it's a weird one, but let's say they find some way real quick to destroy the Horcruxes. They find let's say the diadem is on the stone statue. They destroy the cup. They destroy the diadem. All of a sudden, Nagini pops in. They destroy Nagini.
Ooh, that'll be good.
What happens if... So at that point, we think they've destroyed all of them, right? There's 6 of them. What happens if there's a 7th one? Like, theoretically,
right?
What goes on if they try to kill Voldemort in this moment? Because, like, where are they going to get it? They have no idea that there's a 7th one. So,
how would they know if they really killed Voldemort or if there's another one?
Yeah.
Well, that's the fear. Like, would it look different to kill him if he's still tethered?
Yeah. So I guess that's the question, because again, you seem to just have an idea that it's just 6, which seems like the better reading, and that's probably... I mean, I'm not going to like just give it away, but it just seems like it's more likely that there's 6. But there's also this idea floating around in your head, there might have been 7. So like she's toying with you in that way, like Rowling is toying with you and like, okay, is there another one? And then
if it was the sword of Gryffindor or something,
because the question
how
is,
would you know?
If that one pops up, what the heck do you do with it? Because they've destroyed all of them, and they go after Voldemort, and Voldemort's like laughing, being like, "No, you can't do it because I have this other object." That's why there's book 8 after this guy's the secret
one. Yeah,
But if you kill him, and he doesn't die,
would Harry know? Like, would his scar do something, and he'd be like, "Now I know that I'm free from Voldemort. I don't know how to explain it to everyone, but I know that he's gone forever." Because that'd be kind of satisfying. We'd really have to trust Harry's instincts then. I feel like that could be good. Or same thing, Harry might say, "I still feel something. That wasn't enough. We've got to, like, I don't know, use a little Geiger counter detect around Hogwarts looking for something." Because I don't know, like, how did Dumbledore know when things were Horcruxes, like the ring and whatever else? I mean, it also seems a little anticlimactic at the end of the story. Unless it was another emotional battle where they kind of had to with Ron and Harry, where it became an object, and it was like, if it's the final one and Voldemort doesn't exist anymore and this is his final tether, there could be a certain like dramatic spirit battle against his final form. But
again,
I don't know.
This is like almost like a big joke in the Harry Potter community. You're like, get to the end of this, and all of a sudden Voldemort's been like storing a pebble in the ocean as his 7th Horcrux, and you're screwed. You're never gonna get that. So
you're never
like,
gonna know.
But Voldemort's just like stupid making these significant magical objects Horcruxes.
He was having fun.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah, and
which
that
makes
pride
him more
thing.
of a sociopath. Yeah.
It was more important for him to look good doing it in his own eyes
and to
than
know
for it to be effective.
But no one knows about it, right? No one was supposed to know about it.
Yeah, true. But that's why it feels weird that he's worried about his legendary status, like in wizard history, which in a weird way also just acknowledges your own, like, I don't know, like finality. Like he's kind of admitting at some point it's not going to work, but he just wants to live as long as possible. Maybe. Do they destroy any record of him so he won't get his legendary status at the end of this thing?
He still has a trophy at Hogwarts. Ooh. Remember that one in the second book? Ron is polishing trophies. That's how they find out the name Tom Riddle, because he did something, special services to the school, and he still has a trophy at Hogwarts. I guess it's like archived history, so I mean, there's like ethical questions, like you delete history like that, just like let people come across it. You know, you don't want to tear these things down, or do you? And erase it, expunge them from the history books. What do?
I wouldn't mind expunging him, but No, I guess you can't. And even though that's what he wanted and he thinks he's going to be remembered as like some legendary status, he's not being remembered that way. He's being remembered with like, I was going to say hatred, but he might like that too. Maybe he'll be remembered with pity. That'll get him.
No, love.
I don't know about that.
I know.
But
I'm just saying.
At the end of the story,
Yeah.
he decides to love, and then Alice.
we love him to death. They all circle him and blow him kisses till he dies, you know?
It might work.
Oh, also, as they were going up to the Ravenclaw common room, through squares of moonlight upon the floor, was it a full moon? Come on, Lupin. Let's do some stuff.
Anyway, do some damage.
And how powerful is Baby Lupin already?
Oh, turn into
Baby
a little
Lupin
baby
wolf.
Yeah.
All right, let's do the wrap ups. Anything else in this before we do wrap ups, Danny?
Nope.
All right.
Wit beyond measure, man's greatest treasure. They're like, we still have clues, and I'm
I
like,
know.
but these clues don't mean anything yet. How do they not mean anything? Oh, also, nope, never mind. We'll get to it. Hot tamale, I'm ready.
Okay, let's do hot tamale first then. Hot tamale.
Want me to go?
Luna.
I don't remember why, but I gave it to Neville's Gran.
Nice. That's what I was
Yes,
gonna
that's a great
say.
moment.
Don't ask me why, I don't remember.
Because they tried to kidnap her.
What?
They tried to kidnap her as a way of getting to Neville because they were doing that for other
yes.
people, and then she destroyed them. It might have been just one guy. He's still in St. Mungo's recovering.
That's right.
It's
okay.
Dawlish,
Gran
I
is on the
think.
run. Yeah, Dawlish is
Okay.
still
And
in
Gran's
Mungo's.
on the
Gran's on the
run.
run. She sent me a letter. Oh, by the
That's
way,
my favorite
yeah,
moment.
Oh, so-
Neville's progression in this. She says he clapped a hand to his breast pocket of his robes. She sent me a letter telling me she was proud of me, that I'm my parents' son, and to keep it up.
Nice.
Thank you for reading
That's
that. That's my
cute.
favorite moment.
Oh my god!
But that was almost so kind. It was suspicious coming from Gran. I was like, "Is this really Gran, or is this
goodness,
a letter that
just
tracks
accept
him?"
change.
You can't do it.
Accept the nice moment.
I was like, "What?"
Oh my
But you know what?
gosh.
Gran's near-death experience, I think, just brought her back down to earth for a second.
Yeah, that could be my hot tamale then too.
But also, had he forgotten or had he never fully appreciated how beautiful she was, but he had never been less pleased to see her.
Yeah.
So that's like hot tamale. You know,
Hot
that's
tamale.
Harry saying that about Ginny when she arrived in the room of
Oh
requirement.
yeah. Ginny always gets it, but
Yeah, so that's cool.
I said Luna instead.
But yeah, Gran.
I'm actually gonna go with you. I think Gran is the hot tamale for me. It's a great one.
I was
That's
reading
such a
it and
good
I'm
one.
like, I don't remember why.
And
There though.
wait, what was on Gran's head?
A tiara.
Wasn't she wearing a raven thingy on her head one time? Maybe her raven hat is also
Oh, that was
a
the thing.
diadem.
Wait, because that's what Snape was afraid
Yeah.
of? No.
That's what Neville was afraid of. Snape
Neville.
turned into Gran wearing a
Oh.
Oh, that's
forgot the
why he
description
was
of it,
wearing the thing that Gran
could have
wears.
That would
been
be
the Neville
funny.
head. Because could the Ravenclaw headdress really just be a raven, a bird raven wrapped around the
Wow.
person?
It's just been like misremembered over the years.
That's
That's
why
why it's been
Neville?
lost.
Yeah.
Well, have we seen anything incredibly witty out of Gran? More stomach
There
noises
wasn't
for all you
me.
people who can't hear that.
The burp's come at the
timing.
perfect time. Dude. It's just
We're like, we're not going to burp today. It's going to come
You're just
out
happy it
otherwise.
wasn't you. Also, the headdress thing was a vulture too. by the
Oh,
way.
vulture. All right.
Side note.
Well, we'll dismiss that. She's running away.
Pee my pants.
That is great.
Because you asked. You turned.
Good hand motion.
Perfect time. Have you ever seen Gran do
Yep.
I don't know.
Wait, Jen, who's your hot tamale? You were saying Ginny. You love giving it to
No,
Ginny.
I said Luna.
Oh, Luna, nice.
But
good one.
Ginny's good too.
She's
Yeah.
always.
I mean, she's default, so this is like a bonus hot tamale.
Someone just said Jen's stomach is the sixth person in the room.
So true.
Wait, what? I missed it.
Your stomach is the sixth person in the room.
What? No, she started it.
I thought you were gonna get you riled up again. This is
mine's
great. This is
the
great
seventh.
content right now. People are telling you to breathe on stream. I love when you have moments of laughter like this. Oh, it's the best feeling.
My face is leaking.
All right.
That's gonna be the
Favorite
intro
character? Favorite character in these two? Kristen says Neville.
Yeah.
I'm saying Neville too.
Yeah, I feel like agreed.
House Cup winner.
I think so. I'm trying to think of someone else.
Aberforth is too skeptical and like he helped a lot.
Harry
he saved them. He did great work.
The goat
but,
Patronus.
he didn't. Yeah.
Yeah, that's not bad. Yeah, there actually are some good characters in
different.
this one too. I love when all the characters are coming back. Harry, this could be a Harry moment. If I didn't love Neville so much, I would definitely give it to Harry because his growth in this of being convicted in front of Aberforth, an adult who was like jilted, and then also the courage to tell other people what they need to like find. He's growing in strides, but I think in this chapter, Neville kind of outpaces him in growth, which is crazy. Neville's been growing, but like this moment where I still don't love Gran because I'm like, just be proud of your grandson regardless of how he performs, you know? But I love this moment from Neville of he is really becoming his parents' son. And I think his grandma realizes that, and she realizes maybe she's full of regret. And she's like, I should have treated him better before. But I'm sure this is like a living reminder and something that Gran is going through, like the pride she feels for Neville, but also the great sadness of knowing all about Alice and Frank. It's got to be tough. So I think Neville is definitely it for me.
All sorts of noises going on over here.
And then did you guys do your favorite? Is Neville around the board?
Yeah.
Yeah, for me. Yep.
I was trying to think of someone else. Oh, I said the goat.
Yeah, the goat Patronus. Not bad.
Oh, nice.
He saved the day.
And then what is your favorite moment?
The moment that you read.
Yeah, I'm going with that. It's just so good.
What are you doing?
Oh, no,
Your cheeks hurt so bad.
I laugh and my cheeks hurt, so I have to go like this.
So then you could be normal.
And then it makes everyone else laugh, and then I laugh with them, and it makes it worse.
How do you do it?
Because it hurts.
Oh man.
No. Anyway.
I don't know. What's yours?
I don't know. Neville Gran is good. Neville coming out from behind the portrait is good. Aberforth saving them. All those moments are strong. And then just having the crew back together in the room of requirement.
Oh, I think finding
Ginny
out that
coming in,
he was the eye in the mirror was pretty cool. The Aberforth.
Yeah, resolving things like that. I feel like my favorite was having everyone together again.
In the room requirement.
It just felt like just one good thing after another. So obviously that's how we knew it was going to end bad this chapter. But
I was hoping not.
too much good momentum, you know.
Yeah.
Good. Well, thanks for joining us on this journey of Harry Potter and the First Time Readers. Until next time.
Woo! Sorry for the laughs and the growling.
That's about all I contribute.
Wild end to it, but we did well.
and recipes.
Yes.